I'm going to talk a little bit with you about group practice. And just got a question about this and wanted to just actually drill in even deeper. So first I want to talk about my percentage split. So my percentage split for group practice goes like this. There's two phases. First phase is the onboarding phase, because when people are first getting started with my group practice, it's kind of a pain in the butt. They aren't always, they take a lot of time to get them onboarded, to get them going, to do all of that. It's just a lot of time, and I want to get paid for that time, so it's worth it. So during the onboarding phase, they stay in that phase until they have their first month that they bring in $2,500. So first month, $2,500. After that, they move into full clinician phase. So when they're in the onboarding phase, it's just a 50-50 split for everything. Now, once they have a $2,500 month, then they move into the full clinician phase. So what does that look like? First, it resets on the first of the month, and it's only money that's collected. So if they have a session and someone doesn't pay for it, if I was an insurance-based practice, which I'm not, but if I was, I wouldn't pay someone until the money came in. I don't want to be paying someone for something on the hypothesis that they're going to get paid, because they're most motivated to collect that money before they have the money. But after they get paid, they're not as motivated. So first of the month, it always resets. So here's the formula. First $1,000, and this is for everybody, whether they've been with me for 7 years or whether they just started and moved out of that onboarding phase. So first $1,000 is a 50-50 split. So boom, right away, $500 per person that I'm getting. That's going to cover my basic rent, basic infrastructure, phones, internet, website, all that stuff. Next, for the next $1,500, it's a 65-35 split. All right, so that means that if someone in their first week has $900 that they turn in, that means they're going to get half that. They're going to get $450. Then that next week, say they turn in $500, that means that first $100 is going to be 50-50, so that's going to be $50 for them. Then that next $400 will be a 65%. So that would be approximately, what would that be, $270 probably or so, plus that $50. So then they're going to be in that 65% split until they're at that $2,500, and at that point it switches to 75-25. Now this works for my market, it works for my margins, it works for the amount of time that goes into my staff. Things I spend time on is writing those checks each week. I handwrite them. I could do it through PayPal, through my bank, through QuickBooks, through some payroll thing, but honestly it would take me just as much time to enter it into the computer as it does to just write in the check, and then they have that check right there. For them, that works. For you, maybe that's a little too analog. You figure out what works for you. Now, after that, what else do I spend time on? Once a month, I'm on local radio, and the other hour that I'm on local, so that's like half an hour, and then one of my clinicians goes on local radio. Also, I write an article for the newspaper once a month to talk about the practice. But these are things that, whether I had a group practice or an individual practice, I would be doing anyway. And so really the only time that I spend is that onboarding and then the writing of the checks and kind of keeping things going. So why is this not fee splitting? Okay, so ACA in their code of ethics, and many people are counselors that are in this group, says that you can't do fee splitting. And a lot of people have read what I just described as fee splitting. If you read around that ethics, it's basically if you send a client to someone else and they then give you a kickback. Kickbacks, fee splitting, those are all legal terms that are basically that you're getting an affiliate commission. So if I refer you to Bluehost, I get money for that. If I refer you to Practice Solutions, I get some money for that. Now that's fine if you disclose it and if you're honest and good, but you don't want that to be when you're doing your clinical work. You don't want to, have a certain attorney you send people to and then you get $100 from that attorney. You want to just choose who's the best person for that person. In the same way, if you're referring out of your practice, say you don't do play therapy, and someone gave you a split of that fee, a fee split, that wouldn't be considered ethical either. So the rationale for why people are all up in arms about what I just described is people say, well, if you know that you're getting a percentage of what they bring in, you're more likely to refer to them than you are to somebody else. So they should be W-2 employees. That doesn't take away the fact that what you just explained, that you're more likely to refer internally, it's not going to go away. So if someone's a W-2 employee where I have the liability to then pay for that person, what's going to happen is, yes, I'm going to probably refer to them anyway. So it doesn't take away the fact of what it is. And also in the legal description, the way it's described is in regards to kind of sending people out and then getting kickbacks. Okay, so why should you start a group practice even when you're not busy? This is really important to think about. A lot of times people think, well, I need to have X number of clients before I bring people in. If you bring in someone that complements your services and doesn't compete with your service, so complement versus compete, it can actually keep more money internally. So for example, say you're a couples counselor. You do couples work. You're Gottman certified or EFT or something like that. But you don't like working with kids. It's just not your jam. So instead what you do is maybe you bring in a clinician. They work after school 2 nights a week. And maybe they have a full-time job. They can be there at 3:30, 2 nights a week. Maybe they work through their lunch so that they can be there a couple nights a week. And they only help kids. That then keeps more of those services internal. It's time that you weren't using the office anyway. Maybe it's on a Saturday or Sunday and you're off with your family. It also then expands your network. And so by adding clinicians that complement you when you're starting out is really important, because those people have a bubble of influence that's way different than who you have. They may be members of the yacht club or country club or Rotary. They might go to a different school. They might have their kids in public school and you have kids in private, or vice versa. They're going to be connected to people that you're not connected with. Lastly, I want to look at how these numbers work out. So say we had someone that came in 2 nights a week and they did 3 sessions each time. So they did 6 sessions a week. And then say we had someone else that came in on a Saturday and did 4 sessions. So we're looking at, say, 10 sessions. And I don't even know if these numbers are going to match my $50,000 or not. I'm just throwing out what's reasonable for all of you that are just getting started. Now say they're charging $115. Maybe you charge $135. You want it to be just a little bit lower than you, maybe your private pay. All right, so that's $1,150 per week that's coming in gross. Now we're gonna multiply that times, say, 48 weeks. And so that's $55,200 a year gross. Now say you're taking between the 50%, the onboarding, all of that. Say you end up going home with about, let's just say 35%. So that ends up being about $19,000 extra for you. So that means that you, to make these numbers work, maybe you need to raise their rates a little bit. Maybe they need to see a few more sessions. So maybe we're going to say, I want to take home $50,000, and that would need to be 35% of $142,000. Okay, I'm going to divide that out over 48 weeks. That's almost $3,000 a week that those people would need to bring in. Now let's say we're going to have 20 sessions. That means they need to charge $148 per session. So if you have those numbers, then you can say, whoa, that doesn't work for my neighborhood, that doesn't work for my city. So then they need to see more sessions. Maybe you need to have a second office. Maybe you need to have a couple counselors that are working. So that's where the numbers can start to work out and inform you based on the price, based on the number of sessions, the number of weeks they work, the number of clinicians. Each office can oftentimes house 1 to 2 full-time people and 1 part-time person. So if you have a single office suite, you can do about 20 to 25 sessions, which would be considered full-time. Someone else can do that, and then you can have a part-time person on top of that without ever upgrading your space. Hope this helps. Thanks for letting me into your ears and into your brain. You rock. Put the comments below. If you have questions, comments, where are you stuck in regards to group practice? I'll talk to you soon. Bye.